Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers, welcome to the second lesson on the mindset module. Here we'll be deep diving, inshaAllah wa ta'ala, into the philosophy of self-accountability and extreme ownership on one side versus detachment on the other side. How do we navigate these seemingly disparate and diametrically opposed realities of life? Hakikatun hayat dunya. How do we reconcile them? On one hand, we are taught to be shepherds and stewards for our own life and have this extreme ownership and be the captains of our ship. But at the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, what is this life except la'ibun wa lahu and mata'ul ghurur, play, amusement and delusion. Allah tells us this as well. Also tells us the life of this dunya is like the rain that comes and scatters the earth, like dry hay, and then the earth comes back to life again. Many analogies for dunya. In fact, the word dunya comes from the Arabic word adana, meaning very low. And some people say, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, خلق الموت والحياة to test you. We created death and life. Some people say the death in this context means the life of dunya, because this life is so lowly, it is like death. Because in the next life we will have more senses, we will have eternity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, خالدين فيها أبدا. They will live in there forever. Here we are confined by space and matter. We are confined by health and wealth. We are confined by our five senses. Over there, even the simple act of intercourse will last 70 years. We all have heightened senses, bigger bodies, more sensual experiences, different taste palettes. That's the real life. But here, this is just a taster. It's a snippet, limited in 3D. So how do we balance almost the limitations of this life with the extreme ownership we are told to have as well? Because we are the stewards ultimately, and we are responsible for our actions. In fact, we've got angels on both sides who are writing every single thing down. So here, inshallah, I will tell you how to reconcile these two things and live a fulfilling life from the mindset of a Muslim. So let's recap, inshallah, taqdeer. What's taqdeer? Taqdeer meaning Allah has written in Lawh Mahfuz 50,000 years before the creation of the heavens and the earth, everything that will happen. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Yawm al-Qiyamah and all these things in the future, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these have already happened because He exists outside of time. For us, time is linear, past, present, future. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created time. He was there before time. It's a very deep concept. But you have to understand metaphysics to understand Allah exists outside of time and space and matter. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is beyond this. So time for Him is not linear. Time for Him is in a different dimension, because He created all the dimensions. So when He says something in the future, for Him it has already happened. He has knowledge of that. And this is preserved in the Lawh Mahfuz, in the preserved tablet, which we cannot touch. This is taqdeer, understanding that everything's happened, but Allah knew what we would do for us to get to that level. For instance, it's like a teacher who says, you're going to get a grade A or a grade B, and you end up getting that grade. The teacher's already written in her or his diary that you will get a grade A or a grade B. The teacher now is not responsible for you getting the grade A, but he or she knew you would get that grade A. Same as taqdeer. The taqdeer meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knew what you already got before you got it, because He exists outside of time, but getting it was your sole purpose. was your sole responsibility. You are responsible. So you must have this responsibility. We are responsible for every single action. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَى وَمِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ حَرًّا يَرَى. The other way around. Goodness and evil, even an atom's worth or smaller than that, will be recorded and brought forth on that day where our accounts will be laid open for us. And those that get their book in the right hand, Allah says, they will return back to their families gleaming. Those who get their book in the left hand will return to their families with a gloomy face. So everything we will be accounted for, everything will be asked about. Smallest things to the biggest things, there will be a big hisab on that day. So we are accountable for everything. But at the same time, when it comes to detachment, that doesn't necessarily mean detachment from our actions, but detachment from the fleeting joys of this life. Ups and downs. They say, do not let the dunya get into your heart. And that's what we mean by detachment. Do not let the dunya get into your heart. Keep the dunya in your hand. The ups and downs. They say, don't let the ups get to your head, or don't let the downs get to your heart. The only thing in your heart should be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shirk does not just mean idol worship. You could have shirk and worship your job. You could worship your children. You could worship your spouse. You could worship your wealth, or you could worship your features, your looks, your body. This is also shirk. Shirk does not just mean worship of an idol or worship of a stone. That is a big shirk, but shirk could be the worship of our own nafs. This is also shirk as well. Iblis, he was an ungrateful one. He did shirk by not bowing his head to Adam because he thought himself bigger. Kibr. Kibr often leads to shirk. You have this arrogance in you. So check yourself. But the detachment in this sense, meaning detachment from the outcome. You are not responsible for the outcome. You will be judged based on your actions, not on the outcome. You'll be judged on your niyyah and your actions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَعَمِلُوا صَالِحًا, good deeds. You won't be responsible for the outcome of that deed. If you want to re-establish the Khilafah, it may not happen in our lifetime or in the next generation or the generation after. But you must have that niyyah in you, that I want to raise Salihin, I want to raise the next generation. In fact, I want to be the Amir al-Mu'mineen. I want to be the leader of the believers. Have this niyyah inside you. And having that niyyah itself will lead to you becoming a better person. We mentioned in the previous lesson, Tazkiyatul Nafs as being part of Rajula, having a pure heart, doing constant dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so you can purify your intention. So have this intention, but be detached from the outcome. The outcome itself is not dependent on us, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who controls the outcome. For instance, Musa alayhi salam just put the stick down. Physically, that's impossible to separate a seed, but he just did it. We must do our action. Maryam alayhi salam only shook the tree. Physically, she couldn't shake the tree, but just the action of doing it, Allah brought the result. Same with Musa alayhi salam. He brought the result. The result is not in our hands. For instance, the re-establishment of the Khilafah is not in our hands, but we must do our part, and Allah will aid us, just like He aided the 313 Sahaba against the 1,000 plus Quraysh of Mecca, the pagans. Allah aided them with angels and who threw dust in the eyes of the disbelievers. So Allah aids you, but the intention must be there. I'm going to do this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, have integrity, have sincerity. That's detachment. Detachment from the outcome, detachment from the ups and downs of life. The Prophet ﷺ cried when his son died, but he still led the prayer the same day. So you have these emotions, but do not let them overcome you. So detachment from the major setbacks of life. So that's the one part, and the first part I mentioned as well is extreme ownership of your actions. Own your actions, but disown the outcome, because that's in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's it for this lesson, inshallah. Then lesson 3, mindset, we'll talk about more of the things we talked about earlier in the first lesson, introduction. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.